Today is Thursday of Holy Week. It's traditionally called Maundy Thursday, and we'll be looking at John chapter 13. Listen to verse 1 through 11 in the NASB. Now before the feast of Passover, Jesus, knowing that his hour had come and that he would depart from this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. And during supper, the devil, having already put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had handed all things over to him, and that he had come forth from God and was going back to God, got up from supper and laid his outer garments aside. And he took a towel and tied it around himself. And he poured water into a basin and began washing the disciples' feet and wiping them with the towel which he had tied around himself. So he came to Simon Peter, and he said to him, Lord, why are you washing my feet? And Jesus answered and said to him, What I am doing you do not realize right now, but you will understand later. Peter said to him, Never shall you wash my feet. And Jesus answered him, If I do not wash you, you have no place with me. And Simon Peter said to him, Lord, then wash not only my feet, but also my hands and my head. And Jesus said to him, He who has bathed needs only to wash his feet, otherwise he is completely clean. And you are clean, but not all of you. For he knew the one who was betraying him. It was for this reason that he said, Not all of you are clean. Then when he had washed their feet and taken his garments and reclined at the table again, he said to them, Do you know what I have done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are correct, for so I am. So if I, the Lord and teacher, wash your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example, so that you also would do just as I did for you. Truly, truly I say to you, a slave is not greater than his master, nor is the one who is greater than the one who sent him. If you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them. The word Maundy is derived from the Latin word commandment. And it relates to how Jesus washed the apostles' feet and commanded, Love one another as I have loved you. In the book Sacred Fire, Ronald Rolheiser treats the image of Jesus removing his outer garments as a symbol of humility and vulnerability. Jesus modeled that for his apprentices. Rolheiser says that, unlike Jesus, our outer garments are pride, judgments, and a feeling of superiority over others. We can't truly serve others unless we remove our outer garments. Jesus demonstrated how to love those who don't understand our convictions, like Peter, who didn't understand what Jesus was doing and tried to prevent him from washing his feet. Jesus also demonstrated how to love those who have mistreated you, like Judas, whom Jesus knew was betraying him. Instead of being offended and jaded, Jesus served. He stripped himself of his status and privilege as Lord and teacher in that moment and made himself a servant. It was handmaidens and slaves who washed guests' feet in that culture, which is probably why Peter suggested that Jesus wash his whole body instead. I think Peter was trying to say, do what is appropriate for a rabbi. Baptize me. Don't humiliate yourself and me by acting like someone beneath the both of us. Now, that type of thinking gets in the way of the kind of community God is making in the church. He wants the church to be what Walter Brueggemann calls a prophetic alternative community of compassion. Jesus knew that the apostles were going to be hindered in their leadership and community building if they didn't let go of this worldly mindset. In the Gospels, the apostles are often exposed for caring more about culture and hierarchies and other people's judgments than being humble and gracious. Now, Jesus had a lot of legitimate reasons to be judgmental towards his disciples, but that is not who he was. The Son came from the Father full of grace and truth, the kind of grace that led Jesus to die for us while we were still sinners, and the truth that God is faithful even when we are not. To follow Jesus' example takes letting go of judgmentalism and our false sense of superiority over others. If we don't mature beyond those things, then there will always be a challenge to obey Jesus' command, love one another as I have loved you. The way he loved was with radical kindness, even to those who didn't quote-unquote deserve it. In this last opportunity to spend time with the apostles before he died, Jesus was trying to model humble, self-giving love. Jesus wanted the righteousness of the apostles to surpass the religious leaders of the time, who were unmerciful, quick to exclude others, and more focused on appearances and hierarchies than showing kindness to the needy. Jesus didn't want his apostles to imitate that kind of leadership. In verse 8, when Jesus told Peter, "If I do not wash you, you have no place with me," he was making clear that faith and humility are inseparable. We can believe in God, but without humility, we will often be at odds with his will. By washing their feet, Jesus gave us an image of what this means. Verse 3 points out that Jesus removed his outer garments because he knew that he had come from God and was going back to God. Rolheiser writes, "That is also our own inner garment. The reality that lies deepest beneath our race, gender, religion, language, politics, ideology, and personal history, with all its wounds and false pride. What is most real is that deep down beneath these other outer things, we are imprinted with a dark memory, the brand of love and truth, the inchoate knowledge that like Jesus, we too have come from God, are returning to God, and therefore are capable of doing anything, including loving and washing the feet of someone very different from ourselves. Our inner garment is the image and likeness of God inside of us. And when we are in touch with this, we can find the strength to wash one another's feet across any divide, liberal, conservative, pro-life, pro-choice, Catholic, Protestant, Jew, Muslim, Muslim, Christian, black, white, man, woman, and begin to feel sympathy for one another beyond our wounds and differences. Rolheiser is connecting the problem of divisiveness with false identity. People hold on to prejudice and divisive opinions because they see themselves as defined by who they are not, by their perceived enemies. Richard Rohr points out in Everything Belongs that immature religion is angrily focused on things it is against, instead of being joyful and excited about the things it stands for. If our ego and self-worth is wrapped up in our opinions and doctrine, then our identity will not be rooted in God. But if our self-worth is rooted in grace, then it will make us gracious, because we will value God's acceptance over anything the world values and divides over. In the New Testament, mature religion comes with wisdom and gentleness, two things which make fellowship possible, even with quote-unquote difficult people. When Jesus washed his disciples' feet, he showed what James 3 calls the gentleness of wisdom. We may not be in the place today to serve and show compassion to people who are difficult and hurtful, but we can start by praying for the Peters and Judases in our lives and see how God enlarges our heart through those prayers. Amen.